World of Tank Blitzers, it's a Littlefinger. Hey, today we're going to be doing a full tank review here on the SU-152. Yes, this is a Tier 7 Soviet tank destroyer. You can see it here in the Halloween garage, October 2020. Let's first talk about the gun. 152 millimeter gun. It is one of the few tanks in the game where you're going to want to play with the stock gun. So you really only have to worry about upgrading your engine and tracks. We'll talk about the gun a little bit later, but obviously known for its DERP capacity. 95 pen on HE doing 960 damage. Alright, so consumables, repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline. Provisions running standard fuel, improved fuel, and extra combat rations. Ammunition here, I'm running 12, 7, and 7. You're going to need the heat against some of the Tier 8 heavy tanks. And you're certainly going to need to carry a fair amount of HE when you get the sides, rears, and back of a lot of other tanks. And that is the key to playing this tank well, knowing when to use HE. So we'll talk about that as well. So we're running Calibrated Shells primarily because it gives us 10% additional on the HE, getting us very close to 100 mil of pen there. Running defense system and camouflage net for the tank destroyer because it gets the 7% concealment bonus. I am running supercharge, and that is so that we can do a better job sniping in this tank. The dispersion isn't great, but I find that running a faster shell makes sure that we get our shot on target a little bit easier. Improved assembly, engine accelerator, refined gun because we are shooting stationary. You want to use vertical stabilizer on a tank when you're shooting on the move more frequently. Running toolbox and consumable delivery system. Alright guys, here is blitzstars.com just so we can compare these tanks. And you'll see I've got the SU-152 pulled up with the 52 millimeter gun, and next to it with the top 122 millimeter gun. Now you remember, I recommended playing this with the 152 millimeter, and you might look at the stats and say, there's so much green on these other tanks, that means that they're so much better. Why are you recommending this gun? Well, it's the DERP factor, right? When we switch over to HE and we've got almost 95 pen and we're doing 960 damage, it's the fun of dropping huge numbers on unsuspecting lights and mediums and just ruining their games that makes this such a fun tank to play. But you need to know, I mean, look at this, 135. These other ones are 47, 63, 60%, 42% higher. Our penetration numbers are horrible with this AP gun. With the heat, it's pretty good. You can see we're up there, up over 250. So let's just switch that all over. And yes, look at this. We're right in line with the rest of the tanks. So this is why you do need to carry heat. Keep in mind, heat does not go through soft objects like fences or buildings, nor does it go through tracks. So you've got to be very accurate with your aiming, which is difficult on this tank because of 0.453 dispersion and 2.5 aim time. So it's the trade-off, but it is certainly fun, and I think that is why so many people play this tank. 6 degrees of gun depression. It's tough. It's workable. You just have to make sure you're aware of that when you get into your hiding spots. 43 kilometers per hour is the slowest of these tanks I've pulled up. Again, it's workable. You don't really have that big of an issue with it during the battles. 92% credit coefficient. We're not playing it for making money. We're playing it for the DERP. Remember that. 75, 60, and 60 on the armor. Again, not great. It does have some interesting angles, and you are going to get a few unsuspecting bounces, but don't count on them. And the interesting thing I thought here, even with all of these horrible statistics, win rate of 53%, you know, it's holding its own, and we've got 7,450 59 players playing this compared to these other tanks that are hardly breaking 1,000. So obviously a tank that you love, and that is why I'm doing this review. Alright guys, so I just want to pull up Armor Inspector. Here you go. You can see the link on the internet for it right up here. Go check it out for some really great information on these tanks. But what I wanted to point out is here you've got about 84 to 85 millimeters of effective armor here on the front and only 62 down below, which means you are a target for anyone shooting HE back at you, especially smashers and the like. So be very careful about that. Alright guys, here is the first battle on Canal. And as you can see, we are bottom tier. We've got a lot of heavies on both sides, and so I'm expecting the battle to take place in the top left corner, northwest corner. And I'm gonna climb up the mountain here, and we're gonna set up as far back as possible. And you'll notice we got this T-49 on my butt. I give him just enough room to get by me, but he has already made me miss out on one potential shot. And he is a tank that does not belong in this position. He is a light tank, and I'm very much a proponent of using your tank for what it's made for, and a light tank is made for spotting. We are a TD. We are made for sniping towards the back of the map. Now, a lot of people will say, well, you're just camping. Well, camping is obviously when you don't have shots. We take a shot on the KV-4, and I was expecting to get spotted, but I didn't. Getting an eye here on the Scorpion. He's going to get taken out by our T-49, who is now doing the right thing. And we get a shot on the backside of that SU-152 44. Since the action is happening here now, mostly in town, we're going to focus in that direction. And again, you get a flavor here that, you know, it's just not a super mobile tank. You need to make sure that you are driving this with your button bar out. And just a reminder, guys, I play on a tablet, and I record the games on PC. I do not play on PC. So you need to have that button bar open, because when you get a potential shot here on the back of an Emil, you want to make sure you've got HE loaded so you do damage like that. 936. Expecting to be able to reload and drop around here and finish him off. Just HE is all we need, but he is taken out already. Okay, so we've got a Panther here. I'm just praying that he pulls forward just enough that we can do another big HE shot into the side there. So you can see the potential of this tank. We've done 2,400 damage in just a short amount of time. Need this Emil to get a spot. And, you know, I went with the HE there because I didn't think I would be able to pen with AP, and wanted to make sure I got some damage done. And this is when the Smasher comes around. Make sure we get this one to count as well. AP 670. Was hoping for some help here on the Smasher, because I know I am exposed and going to take a big shot here in a second. Like I said, they can pen you with HE. I'm just trying to angle just a little bit. And there it is, 983. He just about cleared us with one shot. He's on a reload. I'm going to get down here and finish him off. Maybe it would have been better to let the Emil take him, because I get taken out there by the Panther. So now it comes down to our Emil on their Panther. And I'm just going to fast forward this because our Emil finishes him off here as he comes up and gets the spot. But what I wanted to, you know, obviously this game with just a few really well placed shots, 4,000 damage. And that is the love affair that people have, obviously, with this tank. You're dropping almost 1,000, and look at this. That is only a level 2 mastery game there. So, need to know how to use HE properly. All right, guys, here is Fort Despair, and yes, once again, we are bottom tier. Only a couple tier 8s, though. So, back to my finishing thought there about making sure you know when to use HE. I have done a whole video on this, how to master HE. I'll try to put the link right here above and in the description below. But it's a very good idea to watch that watch that video and make sure you have a strong idea of when you can pen, when you can't, because oftentimes, and you'll see it in this game, you just don't have the time to, be debating what ammo should I have for what tank. And we'll see here that my team has pushed on around, and I am the only one back here. And that's not where I want to be. I don't want to be snuck up upon. So I'm going to push forward, expecting that some of them on the enemy have gone through heavy, and that's going to be a wise decision on my part, because there you go, there's the IS-5 coming around. I can get around here and look back to where they have come from. Now, you have to be patient, you have to aim in, and when you do, you can hit big shots like that on the Dracula. Okay, so our two comments here are in trouble. They've got tanks all around them. The Lycan hopefully is going to keep the flank protected. But I'm watching. The Tiger has shot, so I can turn, load heat, shoot, and back away. I did not even have time to aim, but it was worth the risk of, hitting that shot or just letting him drive away. So now I'm going to go and help the Lycan over here. Or at least see if we can get shots down in there. Looks like he's probably doing okay as it is. But he's now got a Tiger pushing him, so I want to make sure that he is... Oh, they're bouncing each other. So maybe I can get in here and get a shot in. Could have switched to HE here and got the kill, but I knew I was going to do it with AP, so either way, we take a shot from the IS-5. And so the decision here is let's push forward. The SU has shot, so be patient, be patient. He's reloading, and you get an idea there about the armor profile. Wiggling side to side is your only chance, but there still is obviously a lot of penetrable area on the front of this tank. Tiger was showing us enough area that I thought I could take a shot, but we hit the rocks instead, and that's just a product of the accuracy on this tank. Now this shot here, I do rush and miss. I just turned a little bit too hard and hit the building again. But it's 4-on-2, Smasher's coming to help. He's gonna put a big hurting on him. And if I can drive properly, I can sneak on through here and get the kill while the Smasher's reloading to finish that off. And there you have it. Not a great game as far as the number of shots that we got in, but look at that, 2,000 damage for a tier 7, 3 kills. So again, the ability to do high damage in just a few shots with this tank. Alright guys, so here's the final game, Oasis Palms, and you can search anywhere on the internet and see clips of this tank just doing DERP damage. This video here was primarily made, to talk about the characteristics of the tank and the play style of it. And it's not a tank that you can play frontline. It just does not have the armor for that, nor does it have the speed and mobility. So it is definitely a backline sniper. The difficulty is that you have some horrible dispersion. So my recommendation is to find good, unique camping spots that you can get shots off. And this AMX is just going too fast for me to even think about shooting 400 meters across the map. Obviously, when you do shoot, you lower your camo rating, and there's a higher probability of being spotted. Now I'm back here, and you can see most of the enemy team is there in the corner, so I'm not worried about them just yet. Still focusing on this AMX, and if there's anybody else that's gone through the little opening there. Alright, so here's a Panther. We know we can pen the side of him with HE. So here we go. Keep backing up for me. There we go. 895. And that is why we play this gun. Alright, so now we've got an eye on the Smasher and the IS-3. Just want to see if they will push around the corner. So I'm not going to go too far forward. I want to keep my distance so that hopefully I don't get spotted when they come around. And here comes the Tiger. We can pen the side of him with AP. And there is a 640. So I'm thinking they're going to push. So I drop the adrenaline. And, I'm staying far enough back here that I am not spotted. Shot goes actually where I was aiming. I should have aimed a little bit lower. But now we're spotted. But because of my positioning next to these rocks, I've got hard cover. Alright, keep in mind, with heat, you cannot go through that spaced armor. So we're aiming for his turret. And we drop a big shot in there. The ISs have the spaced armor on the sides just above the tracks. So if possible, we don't want to hit there. We want to hit on the backside. And as you saw there, that shot bounces. We can use the rocks here to kill time while we reload, and then we don't have to worry about getting shot, or we drop off the radar and we're no longer spotted, just like those two are in the corner there. So we're just going to be patient and let this play out. Let someone else do the spotting. That is not what this tank is made for. There goes the IS. Wait for him to turn. Let's put heat into the front of that pike nose and almost get back into complete safety. Only taking one of the two shots. HE is all we need to finish him off. There we go. And so kind of in a nutshell, that's how I like to play this tank. Just keep in mind that if you find a spot where you don't have shots, you do need to relocate. The key with the tank is making sure you're in a far enough away position that you can get shots in the sides and backs of the opponent tanks, so that you can do those big damage numbers. Oops. So, yeah, we only hit 3 tanks, but again, 43,000 credits on premium time with a level 3, 2680 in damage. So, really fun little tank there. Hope you've learned a few tips and tricks to play this tank a little bit better. And of course, guys, have fun out there. Stay safe, get educated. Not fingered, Littlefinger out.